Mobile DJ, that's you. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself some battery powered stuff. Now, I'm not talking about getting big battery powered backup. What I'm really talking about here is get yourself some battery powered components. This weekend, rainy season in California, we are doing our party. Power goes out. Kids are sad, kids are crying. They gotta go home soon because there's no lighting in there. But we had brought some wireless battery powered up lights. Some Mackie Thump Goes. My microphone could have been wired, but I had my X5 wireless XLRs. The Mackie Thump Goes Bluetooth. I set my Serato to Bluetooth to the Mackie Thump Go, and then I DJ'd right from there. DJing with Bluetooth is so tough. 30 minutes later, the lighting came back on. My equipment came back on. We were rocking like it never stopped. Get yourself some battery powered stuff. It can save your life. What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up.
It is a wake up in Cleveland, kind of a sick day. As you can hear, my voice is working through some issues. I've been fighting a cold for the past 3 days, and hey, look at that. There's some. All right, hold on. I'm just seeing the bezel on my little teleprompter here that I did not see before. That's not good. Let's figure that out. Because I can't really zoom in. My zoom. That. Oh. All right, get me back in focus. Where's my box? Doesn't like my eyeballs. That's annoying. Okay. All right, we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. We might have some camera issues today. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out today. We are yeah, I have a I'm not taking selfies. I actually have a teleprompter on my camera here, and it's supposedly going to help me move through videos faster. That's the plan anyway. We'll see if it actually happens. I'm going to clear my throat out while we're doing this, so it'll get a little better. I'm not trying to have a sexy voice. I promise you that. But I have been working, I want to say 14, 15-hour days over the last couple of days, just preparing for this. It's not even a technical video wall. It's just a video wall that we haven't done yet. So we have a client. The event's in San Diego this weekend. We actually have 2 events in San Diego, but mine in particular is it's everything, not everything, but it's a video wall with a DJ video booth in front. We're doing ceremony sound for obviously for the ceremony, and just a whole bunch of stuff, right? So, Waddy J will not be at this one. You'll be at the other one in San Diego. You won't be at the one where I am. Anyway, if you guys aren't following Waddy J, you guys are really missing out. He's one of the dopest up and coming DJs out there. Make sure you watch him. He's on Twitch like twice a week. Hold on. All right, but this is bugging me a little bit because it should be seeing me. My eye focus should be kicking in, but it's not. Come on, man. All right. Oh, that is way too close. There we go. There's my eye. That's better. All right, now let me just fix the ISO. Oh, I see. Now I'm back to this stupid ass thing. Don't you see this right here? Right here. And right here. Yeah, that's the mount. Which I'm going to take off. All right, you don't need to see me doing this.
All right, what is going on, everybody? It's your man, Cleveland Terry. We are at the Chevet booth, and we are checking out some of the new stuff that they have. First off, I got to talk about this guy right here. You know what this is? This is the Gig Bar case. It is a hard case. Hard case. Go ahead, open it up. Open it up. Oh. Beautiful. Oh. It is about damn time. About damn time. Also, I want to show you something else because I'm shocked. Remember in my video last time, guys, I talked about the fact that the Gig Bar Move was cool with the ILS, but it needed its own controller. If I didn't want to rock the Gig Bar, like maybe I just wanted to rock some totems. Guess what? Bam! Bam! ILS command. This is exactly what Chevet needed. Exactly.
Okay. I think that's going to be a little better. Voice is still thrash, but at least it doesn't hurt. That is the key. Yeah, I've been back. It's feast and famine. You try to do everything at the same time. So I have been back at the gym, finally again. My shoulder is at a place now where I can actually hit the gym. Like I was jacked all through summer, like seriously jacked. There was so much pain. I couldn't lift anything. I had no strength in my arm. It's finally gotten to a place where I get a couple of clicks here and there, old man clicks, but in general, pain is gone. So I've been hitting the gym again for the past 2 weeks. And even when I'm a little under the weather, I'm still going to the gym. I'm not dying, so I'm hitting the gym. Because, it seems like something wants you to just not remain consistent. And unless I'm dying, I'm hitting the gym, I have a birthday, a rather large birthday coming up in January. I'd like to be operating at my peak level. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, I don't need a Z-Pack, Mark. Thank you. I'm not there. This is how my colds go. They start out, basically it's always in my throat, and unless it drops all the way down and turns into something else, then we're typically good. But yeah. So honestly, I feel better than I sound, if that makes any sense. As I continue to talk and drink my tea, at a certain point, it's going to clear up completely, and then we'll be back to normal. But for the shoulder, gotcha. I actually was on a steroid, external steroid. I would put on my shoulder like every night, and it would last, for like, I don't know, 12 hours, and then you take it off and you let it sit for 12 hours. You put it back on, do it for 12 hours. So anyway, the shoulder is fine now, which I'm excited for. I'm still working through my wrist because my wrist was jacked too. So that's really the only issue. Yeah, that's really the only issue. But even my wrist is finally getting to a point. Yeah. And the shoulder was just wear and tear over last season, which I will never make that mistake again. As we get older, especially as we get older, and let's say we're not working out, trying to be in the best shape of possible, eating right, like all of these things contributed to my shoulder falling apart on me last I guess I call it last season. But like I haven't even had to wear my brace. It's much better. But I have to be aware of when I do dumb things, like putting a speaker, over my head, that kind of stuff is what causes the problem. Or when you're, trying to grab and hold and carry too many things at the same time to try to save time. Well, guess what? My saving time is added more time to my recovery time. So it's a trade-off. But it's feeling better now. I've been at the gym. I've been hitting everything. There hasn't been anything that I haven't done any free weight flies, because I think that's what injured it in the first place, is the free weight flies. But I still do cable flies. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm feeling better. I don't sound better, but I'm feeling better. And back to work. Now, I know we talked about it when I bought the LED panels. I bought, how many did we buy? Let's see, there's 6 in a box. I think we bought 70 panels. So, so we bought them in April. Just to recap for people that don't know, we bought it in April, March, because we had an event May 4th. We got it at the studio, I want to say 1 week before the event, maybe a week and a half. We had to build it. We had to find the right software, and we had to learn how to run that software. So we did all that in a week, which I'm still pretty impressed about. I mean, look, we're all DJs. We all do the same thing where we're like, hey, I do that. And then they're like, you do that? Sweet. I want to hire you. You're like, okay, cool. All right, let's do this. They're like, but it's for like next week. You're like, next week? I have never touched this thing. So you go into like pure learning mode. And we got it to work, and it looked great. Now, fast forward. Yeah, let's see if we can pull this up. Fast forward to now, after our dead part of the season. So as you guys may or may not know, most of you do, but the way bar mitzvah season works is it runs with the school year. So from basically like typically the second week of August till like their third week of June is all bar mitzvahs, and then it dies that last week of June. We might have like one or two, and then we're dead in July. There's like no events in July, and then we start back up, picking up stragglers here and there, the first week of August, and then as we go, it builds back up, and then by the time we hit the middle of August, we're at like six events that day. So we bought it in April. The lady we bought it because of was like, yeah, I have like 3. I have one May 4th, and I got 2 June, 12th and June 1st or whatever. We're like, okay. So we bought it. Anyway, those other 2 fell through. They ended up not going with any LED walls. Fast forward, we are now in September, and we have one Saturday. We have one in October, but then after October, November, we already have 3 booked now. I've been booking them like crazy. We have 3 booked for that one. I think we have, October 3, December so far 1, nothing in January, 1 in February, 3 in March. So we're good now. We're good. It's all working out. It's making money, and will pay itself back. It's technically because of the amount of stuff this lady did for Saturday. I think we are pretty much caught up now. So if it were just a panel, excuse me, if it was just a panel, it would have been fine. It's 16 by 9, no big deal. Those are easy to set up. But she wanted a DJ facade, an LED DJ booth. Now, we hadn't done that yet. Okay. And a couple of things to understand about it. First off, it's not as easy as just saying, "Oh, we'll just put a DJ booth in front of it, and then we'll just run it." That's not how digital By the way, how many people understand how LED panels work, like for building a video wall? How many people understand that? Leave it in the chat. Let me know. I do sound I'm more Barry White than Busta. Ha ha. Oh, ha. Ha. Well, maybe a little Busta. As I combine all the anyway. So yeah, leave it in the chat if you do or don't know. Thank you, Marcus. Now the question is, how much do you understand LED walls? Do you understand LED walls as just building one, or do you do mappings? Do you do any of that stuff? I'm just curious. Oh, he does video walls. Okay, gotcha. So we got a lot of people here that well, not a lot. We have 2 that understand it. Yeah, clueless on Alexander. So yeah, it's if you're doing a straight wall, and I have found over time, over just kind of going through it, the trick is okay. So I'm falling down here. All right. So obviously we know LED panels is like building a what do they call those things? I'm drawing a blank on what do you call it? Puzzle. It's like literally putting together a puzzle. Okay. So there are different sizes for LED walls and the panels themselves. Some are square, some are rectangle. That's pretty much the big 2 sizes. We did get the rectangle ones, and now that I've been using it, I like the rectangles, but the squares have more options available to them. Just size wise, you just get more options with squares, because with the panels, with the rectangle, you're probably dealing with they're typically like I think it's a 20 by 40, give or take. So it's like a little under 2 feet by 3 feet. Okay. So as you build, if you're stacking up, if somebody's like, oh, I want like a 9 by 16. Well, yeah, obviously you can do that because that's 3 panels up, 10 panels across. Which is fine. But, if you start to want to get like very specific, like, oh no, I don't want to do a 9. I want to do an 8. I want to do a 7. Well, now you really can't because you're locked in to those, 2 remaining feet, no matter what. It's always in 3s. So, which isn't a problem. It is what it is. So there's that piece, you build it, there's several different styles of building your truss up, whether it be from like a floor stand. We're using a floor stand right now, with a riser because she has a stage that's like, 20 inches off the ground. So we're using a floor stand with a riser. We haven't done the hang down yet. And I really don't want to, because there's no like super fast process. Everything either adds time in some respects. It could be the putting it up. It could be the taking it down. Let's see here. Don Rafa says, do you need to have extra time to set up and tear down at the venues? Yes. And where you're going to use. Yes. So a couple of things. First off, you definitely need to have at least, so we've gotten it down in the past, 2 bookings, to 2 hours to set up. That's once you bring all the cases into the room. Okay. 2 hours to set up. It's about an hour to break down. It's faster to break down than it is to set up, obviously. There's a couple of things that you do need. So when you do an LED wall, you have to keep in mind power considerations. Okay. So give or take, our panels are about 3 amps a panel. Okay. So obviously you guys can do math and you're DJs, so you understand this. When you walk into a place, what do you ask for? Typically, like, I need at least one dedicated 20 amp circuit, right? So you can run all of your stuff through it. A lot of times you'll ask for a backup. Just so you know, if you need to separate, audio from lighting or whatever. You used to have to separate audio from lighting back in the day when everything was like, halogen. And there was a lot of wattage being pulled out. So now with LED, lighting is kind of moot, but it's still there. So you need a circuit to power everything. LED walls are different. If you're building up an LED wall and you're doing a 16 by 9, okay, that's a basic panel. Each panel can take typically around 3 amps a panel. So when you start doing the math, when you're building up your board and on the back, you have a data connection and a power connection, and they all daisy chain one another. Data doesn't matter because there's no power coming out of it, but there is a maximum of data channels that you can actually run at the same time. You'd learn this as you go, honestly. Then the power. So if it's 3 amps, and let's say you're trying to play conservative, you might say, I need an amp. I need a new circuit for every 5 panels. It's 5 panels, 3 amps, 15 amps, right? But if it comes to 20, you have a little more flexibility. So if every 5, so 3 amps times 30, what is that? That's 90 amps that you need. And that's at a minimum to supply your panels. So you typically need a drop. There is nothing worse than trying to find new circuits all around the building. That's a nightmare. And we have just told people, like, we only do them if you can provide drops. I do not want to run cabling around the entire building trying to find new circuits, you know? So, yeah. So ask for a drop. That's the key here. So we ask for a drop. We're all good. Okay. So that's the power. The data, you can do like a panel per, I think it's something like 12 or 15 panels per technical data run. You know, now I do mine differently. I have a data run per row, and on a 9x16 panel, that's 3 rows. So I literally run 3 data lines. So it's just 10 panels each. Okay. So that part is done, right? Now you have to align everything. So on a standard LED wall, you put it together. You have a processor. Typically, they're like Novastar. There's a couple of other ones, but a Novastar is kind of like the one that every single retailer likes to send you. So we have a Novastar, and so when you plug in the Novastar, you run the Ethernet, because it's all Ethernet data. You run the Ethernet into the panels. I mean, into the processor, and then you have to tell it basically 3 main things. Okay. And this is how you can get into trouble, because typically these things come pre-written for you because they know exactly what panels you're using. So they'll go out and map everything out and do it for you. So don't ever have to do a restore, because then you're screwed. Okay. So when we first got it, I broke that thing left and right. You know, I was like, oh, what does this do? I'm just clicking buttons. What's this do? What's this do? Why is this work? So basically, 3 things. You need to know, you need to know how many panels you're using, the layout of said panels for data, right? And then the last thing is you need to know the dimensions of your panels. I went through the first 2 not thinking about the dimensions of the panels, because that's how your processor knows really how to lay things out. Because I learned this the hard way. And and by the way, when you get your board and you know you're running, everything's working fine, make a backup, make a restore at that point right there, just in case. Trust me, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Have a restore with the basics. So open it up. There's a save to file. I have a save to file right on my desktop right there. Because when you start to mess with different panel configurations, maybe they want a 6x12 or, you know, something like that. So you're going to have to change those panel configurations. And all the processors, when you restore them, default to squares, which is 128 by 128. And I restored it at a party because it just wasn't working properly. Couldn't get it to work. God, that was dumb. Restored it at the party. The whole thing went to shit. I had like an hour and a half I had an hour to figure it out because they wanted to do the room reveal. And I'm like, oh my God. And the party planner was looking at me like, I'm like, it's okay. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. Anyway, I happened to have my restore. So bam, hit the restore, brought everything back. Thank God. Have a restore. But the reason that you need to know your panel specifications, is specifically the dimensions, is because when you start doing things like mapping, you need to know your panel. You need to know them, because when you map things, you're mapping them typically by pixel, right? So your processor goes left to right, and you pop it up, bam, it's in that pixel. So you need to know that. And we have a DJ booth this weekend. I didn't run a DJ booth mapping. So I learned a couple of things. One thing is I use Resolume. I was using Resolume Avenue for my video content. One, because it was cheaper and it did everything I needed, except it doesn't map. It doesn't map. So the moment they said, hey, we have a DJ booth we need you to do, well, it doesn't map to a DJ booth. So now I had to upgrade to Arena. The only difference between Arena and Avenue is their mapping. And it's not even their mapping, it's their output mapping. You still have access to interior mapping. It's the output that's the problem. So today or yesterday, I had to drop an extra, $500 and something to upgrade to Arena. Now, the good thing is, the one thing they do that's kind of cool is when I bought Avenue, I didn't know. So when I went back to buy the other one, I was assuming that I was gonna have to spend, a little over $800 for it because I already owned Avenue. But they have an upgrade path, so you just pay the difference and then you can upgrade. So that was cool. Anyway, so so I had to upgrade that yesterday. Then I had to map out everything and map out where the DJ booth is. You got to crop things. There's a lot to do, but we got it working. Very, very happy about that. I just have a video montage to create now, but my week has been, non-stop. I've been at the office all week. It's been a lot. So, let me see here. I know there was a question somewhere. Have you run into a venue where they have given any issue regarding the LED wall location time? So the only issue you deal with, and you just have to get information up front, because the moment somebody's asking me, oh, you want to build a wall? Okay, cool. How much time do I have to build it? What's the earliest I can get in there? And they're like, oh, like this one this weekend. They're like, oh, you can get in at like 7 a.m. I'm like, we're not getting there that early. My guys are going to leave from LA to get to San Diego at around 8 o'clock. So they'll be there by 11. They got to load everything in. By the time they hit 12, they can start loading, setting up, and it'll be me and 2 other guys. So we'll set that up and it'll be done in about 2 hours. And then that'll give me, a good 2 hours just to make sure everything's running properly, which is perfect. So yeah, you having time to come in and build is obviously important. In the breakdown too. The breakdown only takes about an hour. You can fly through the breakdown. But you got to have that time afterwards. So if the venue's like, oh, okay, we shut down at 11 and you were required to be out by 11:30, that's not going to happen. So either the client has to end their party earlier or you got to figure something out. The only main issue that we would ever get, and it's just, you got to know this coming through, it's the power. Power is the biggest issue with LED walls. Obviously size, if the room is lower, you can always make it lower and maybe expand it out so it's just wider, or if it's too wide, you can go higher if you got the room instead of going. So there's always ways around it, but you got to have the power to run it. No power, you're screwed. So the drops are very, very important. All right, let's see here. I'm seeing something talking about the Rane 70. What is going on with the Rane 70? What did I miss? Scal says we don't need wireless stuff. We need improvements on weight of the stuff. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Okay, let's see here. Where did Rainbow Gaming says, I had a nightmare. Lost my Rane Performer 2 weeks ago. They shipped it and the UPS driver sent it to the wrong city and state and they cannot track it down, but there's good news. Okay. It happens, full disclosure. I've been getting, products from Amazon, from a guy that for some reason has my address down as his location. So I have a new iPhone 3-in-1 charging base. I have a battery powered, a new battery backup. A couple of things. With the thing that came from FedEx, I returned to Cinder because I'm a nice person like that. But yeah, so it happens. Okay. And they drop shipment in Hunting and Fountain. You got it. Perfect. Okay. What is your opinion about Mag 4? I loosen up the screws on my Rane 70 and feels really butter. Okay. The Mag 4. The Mag 4 is fine. It's a smooth fader. I don't like the cut in on a Mag 4. I'm used to it. I mean, obviously, I've been rocking a Performer for the past few months. But I don't love the Mag 4. I do not think it's their best fader. I don't. In all honesty, the best fader was on the 57 and the 62. Those were the best mag faders that Rane has made. In all honesty, I hated them on the Rane 1. They're better on the Rane Performer. They're even better than on the Rane 4, this new fader. Same fader, but just enhancements. But I haven't loved it. They need a new fader. In all honesty, but that's just my opinion. Okay, let's see here. The anal fader for the Rane 70 is. Wrong one. Okay. I don't have the box. I don't have the box. I know it's a PNP. I think it's a PNP. I'm not even going to say it now. PNP 2. I thought it was a PNP 2. Because this is for Pioneer. This one. For the S11, which I have no reason to update an S11. In my opinion, I think that the Magville faders are top notch. I really do. They just feel good, especially to be stock faders. It's impressive. The stock fader, Magville versus Mag 4 to me is like night and day difference. Now, I enjoy the Rane Performer, but you're not going to convince me that the fader is better on the Performer than it is on the Rev 7. That's not going to happen. Well, you chill, bruh. They both will work. They update their crossfaders all the time. So, but I'm not sure. I know the PNP 2 works for it. I know that for a fact. Okay. All right, let's see here. Oh, and by the way, I fixed a problem that you guys didn't even know you had. All right. I fixed a problem for all you DJ people out there. In doing my review and all of my research, I had come to find that there was a bug, technically a physical bug, which is kind of weird, right? A physical bug in the OS for moving platters. As I've been reviewing with the Rev 7 and the Rane Performer, I've noticed that my hardware has been subject to like strange feedback. You know, and at first I thought it was a microphone. I thought my mic was damaged. So, you know, I was getting a ground issue. When I would hit on the board, it would make a noise, depending on which one it was. Some are worse than others. So I would hit on it. As I bumped it, that's why I thought it was a microphone, because I thought I was bumping and the antenna was broken. I even replaced the antenna thinking it was that. And then I could hit my performer and it would make a noise, you know. So it just so happened that I was doing some testing on the Rev 7 too, and the noise was there. And it was there before, because I remember when I was in the Bay Area, I'm like, oh, there's something, I'm getting feedback. This is weird. It's like a ground issue. Anyway, come to find out, it was a DJ issue. And I sent it to DJ and said, hey guys, I need you to look at this before I do my review, because I like to give people the opportunity to fix things that are problems. You know, I'm not just gonna leave a review and be like, oh, and then it does this, and this is a deal breaker for me, and this sucks, and this sucks. Like that's not good business. So I sent it to them first. They then looked at it, and sure enough, there was a problem with something in the software. So that patch is coming. I think it comes next week. So if you have a Rane Performer or a Rev 7, anything with like moving jogs, when you've experienced this, it'll be fixed. You're welcome. The things I do for you people. Okay. Teddy in the building. What is going on? All right. Cameron Justice. Use a jackery if there ain't no outlets. You think I'm gonna use a jackery on a LED wall? No, I'm not gonna do that. I don't care how good you can say that jackery is from Jesus. I don't trust it. I'm sorry. Okay. When starting a mobile DJ business on a limited budget, would you spend more on good lights or a nice DJ booth? I already have good sound system and controller. Lights are overrated, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that there are so many variations of lighting that you can find something that will work appropriately for your event that is not going to cost you your business. The booth. I don't think you need to buy an expensive booth. I think a table and a facade will work just fine for you. You know, a lot of people, I try to tell people this. Yes, I have furniture. Yes, my partner has a Humpty booth and all these things. Yes, you know, we talk about these things and they're great. They are great. But they're not the end all. Okay? You don't necessarily need to spend thousands of dollars on a booth. Now, if you're finally ready to buy something, yeah, a better looking booth goes a long way. You know, I get compliments on my Jenny Max furniture every single time I go out. Every time. There hasn't been one time where people are like, "This is really nice." Not one time. My partner gets compliments on his Humter. Party planner's like, "Oh, I didn't know you had that. I'm just going to use yours from now on." So, but the Pro X booths are fine. A standard facade is fine. I've started to like the Pro X booths just because it has the built-in table. You know, and it's not the only one that does it. I'm just referring to Pro X, but there are multiples out there. I use a table from Home Depot because these are affordable and can adjust to good height. Fair enough. Yeah. You know, I even use, I still use for certain things, the fast set tables. I like to use those for ceremony because they're just easy to set up and break down. So, and they're small. Let's see here. Philip says, what's a great reliable home PC for DJ business purposes? I don't know, man. I don't use PCs. I use Macs. And if you use a MacBook to DJ, you can use that same MacBook to do other things. Like, I am not the guy to ask for that's like, so when I get my MacBook and I plug in Serato and then I disable Bluetooth, disable wireless, disable this, go into the BIOS and disable. I don't do any of that shit. That is unnecessary to me. And if you can't have a software that can multitask in 2024, I'm not using you. So yeah, I use my one computer. I have a couple of computers, but my MacBook that I use, yeah, I use that. So, and it works just fine. But yeah, I'm not the guy to ask about PC. So full disclosure, the Rane Performer fader is better. They did some enhancements. I think they firmed it up a little more, so it is a better fader. The cut-in still requires you to be a little looser with it. The sweet spot isn't it, again, it's like, I don't know, man. Pioneer DJ, their cut-in is like minuscule. It's just really impressive. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Pablo built a replica of a I don't even know how to pronounce it. Hoyer board, I think that's how you pronounce it. They are nice. Yeah, that's the problem. It's the transportation part of it. You need to be able to break it down easily. So it'll be curious to see what happens with the Joe Budden booth when it finally does come out, because guys, these are some of these questions are things I can't answer, and the reason why I can't answer them is because I don't know of every. Do you understand how many manufacturers make lights? Like, in all honesty, do you understand? There are thousands, and let's not even get into the light manufacturers. Let's just get into the sales. If you're calling, if you're trying to get your stuff internationally and you're going through Alibaba or one of those, do you know how many vultures? The moment you're like, I would like this kind of LED panel, I would like this kind of uplight, and it's like lending tree. Every single person in the world is like, hey, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. You have no idea if they're good or not. You have no idea. You just have to trust. You look for reviews, you look for people that have used them, but in general, like, we just bought a 12-pack of color washes, and when I pulled them out, they look the same as my uplights, as the international uplights too. It's the same. So they're all making them basically to the same specs, all of them. And they all use the same, it's just it's Chinese software. They're all the same, all of them, So, and I've heard that the Donner, wireless TMX works with those. I believe that's correct. But anyway, so who knows? They're all, but who knows? But they're all, I don't have names. We buy from companies, we buy from manufacturers, but I don't have names for them. They're, they don't have a name on them. They don't have a branding. So who knows? I don't know. The lady yesterday on my call with her the day before said to me, well, what kind of panels are they? What's the manufacturer? I'm like, lady, why do you even care? Let's just be honest here. Why do you care? You have no idea what I'm going to say. Don't act like you're a tech nerd, And she's like, yeah, I need to know what panels you're using, and what's your audio system, and what are you using? And I'm like, do you know if I tell you this? I'm like, well, I'm using a QSC system, 12.2s and 118. The panels are 2.5. DPI. Do you know what I'm saying right now? No, you don't. So then why'd you ask? Because somebody told you to ask that question. Stupid. Anyway, okay. Okay. Do I like the Chevy Gig Bar ILS2 moving head, 70 watts each, 140 watts total plus watt? I have a full review on the Gig Bar ILS2. Full review. In my playlist, which would be the playlist is CT's gear reviews. And if you click on that playlist, you could even search for Gig Bar, it'll come up. Watch the video, but spoiler alert, it's fine. I use the ILS all the time. All the time. The new one is brighter, which is better. The movies are brighter. Still there is a limit to where you can use them and how good they are. But they can't. Thoughts on them? Am I in a loop? Because we've talked about the battery powered movie heads too. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Talk to me. Am I in a loop right now, or are you in a loop? Anyway, battery powered movers are the shit. They're one of the best inventions for DJs and AVs in forever. I have a hard time not using my battery powered movers because they're so convenient. Now I have helpers, so I do love the color key 150s. They're really, really good looking movers, and they're bright, they're powerful. They do require power, but it's just one. I use wireless DMX for all my lighting, so I never have an issue with that. It's just running power to wherever we need to go. But yeah, like the Chevy Free Spot 60s, which are, I think they are 70 watts or 80 watts, one of those two. And yeah, and JMass. And as a matter of fact, JMass is going to be sending me some lighting to review soon. They just contacted me like yesterday. We've been going through this since NAM. That's how long it takes sometimes. And I'm in LA. I can literally drive there and just grab something. So anyway, yeah, I'm just a big fan of anything battery powered. I'm trying to make an entire party besides sound. I don't think you can do convincingly battery powered speakers. Not for a 250 person party. I just don't think that's possible. So, I'm trying to get all my lights to be battery powered, and I just bring them to the warehouse and charge them, a couple the day before, and then I can just open up the Chevy Command ILS, hit start. There's not so much you can do with the ILS. Or the WMX one, either one, the Wolf Mix, either one works. It's all fine. I'll do the job. Okay. What do we got here? 11:37. I mean, you could make the same argument for what's the other company that I just saw? I gotta find that video. I have a full video on that company, and wasn't Yamaha. Was it Yamaha? I saw him at the DJ Expo. The video is sitting on my streamer. I got to pull out and upload it. I don't know what this means. Let me know. I think it's supposed to be new gig bar is different. I don't know what any of this is. I got the strobe. Let me know what this means. We are close to a completely wireless system. We are almost. I have a big fear about wireless and sound. Battery powered, maybe. And yeah, the SCAs they're good. I'm still not trusting anything like that for, a 250 person party. I'm just not going to do that. I'm still going to require power. Yeah, I don't care enough about that. Okay, so let me explain why I don't care. Because I live in a real state. I kid, but I'm not kidding to a certain point. All of my all of my events take place in like buildings, not barns, not a mountainside, not a hilltop, like you Midwesterners and East Coasters. I don't know what it is with your deal with barns. You're in a barn all the time. Everything's a barn. I had an event in Montana. It was in a barn. Like I just why is my son calling me? Hold on one second, guys. He doesn't typically call. So let me just answer this real quick. All right, guys, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, Cleveland Terry. I wanted to just do a quick video about this new unit. It's not out yet. It doesn't come out until
July 31st, it hits market. I have pre-order it pretty soon, though.
all right, so this is Tim. This is the man, runs this thing. They came out with an amazing product. I haven't tested it yet, but based upon what I'm seeing, this is one of those to beat.
It's a game changer.
Moving platters. It's $700.
What's up, everybody? How we doing today?
$700. This is gonna sell like hotcakes. So I'm gonna do a review, but tell me just real quickly, like, what made you guys decide to do something like this?
The history of DJing is vinyl, right?
Yeah.
And motorized jog wheels is the best we can get right now,
Right.
in terms of replicating that with a digital controller.
Right.
So the Impulse T7
Okay.
is our shot at the motorized DJ controller market, and the largest, most premium controller we've ever made.
Okay.
And we're pricing it just like we price everything else in the Hercules lineup.
Super aggressive.
Competitively. Let's call it competitively.
I call it aggressive, he calls it competitively, fine.
We're targeting both, obviously, beginner DJs
Right.
who want to upgrade to a motorized platters,
Right.
or working DJs who want something small, want something portable,
Yeah.
want something that works with Strato Pro.
It has XLR outs. Very important for a professional DJ that you have that. I'm impressed so far though.
You'll see more of the T7 real soon.
All right, guys, follow my YouTube because you know we're gonna do this review very, very soon. All right, see ya. Okay. Color Key has a battery powered gig bar, no moving heads. Okay. I don't believe in gig bars without movers. I really do think they're pointless. That's just me. I don't speak for everybody. All I want is a gig bar with two movers, washes on in the bottom like they are now, and washes on the top. I don't need derbies. I don't need lasers. I just need that. That's all I care about. But you gotta have movers. I don't know. I'm a mover guy. I'm a mover guy. I know. Look, trust me. I know sometimes when I you know, you guys walk into parties, they're like, we don't need your lights. We have a full AV company, you know, that's gonna be doing it. And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. And you get there, and there's like 4 LED panels, and they're just changing from red to green to blue. Does it work? Yes. Is it what I like? No. I hate the way it looks. So I'm a mover guy. I won't have just a standard gig bar. It won't happen. Okay. All right, Biggie Smalls in the building. What are your thoughts on kids nowadays just jumping up and down at the TikTok chorus and verse and no real dancing? Hey man, I do bar mitzvahs for a living. That's all they do. And my thoughts are they on the dance floor? Are they moving? You've done your job as a DJ. That's it. That's what I think. It's not my job to tell them what they consider having a good time. So, you know, if jumping's what they do, jumping's what we do. Simple, in my book. There you go. Yeah, exactly. There's no reason. If you got power, plug it in. You're always safer to plug in. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm fine with having like a speaker that has a battery in it. That say, for instance, maybe the battery only lasts an hour. Like, I'm okay with that. I just want to be able to, if the power goes out, it still runs. Like, that's my key. I'm not going to bring a couple of jackeries. Look, I get it, guys. You guys love your Jackeries. I get it. But I do not operate in barns. All right. So I'm not the person you need to sell to, because everywhere I go is civilized and they have, I don't know, electricity and water, running water. Like they have that too. You know, like I live in a place that, I don't know, puts that first. You know, like I don't need to rough it. It's just to know. uh, um, the dust from the roof fell into my gear. I had to clean everything. Oh, yeah, that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. Um, yeah. Yeah. And the cleanup afterwards. Oh, so much work. I don't need to be in a barn. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I know that they mentioned Seattle. I was in Seattle for a wedding, and yeah, it was in a barn. It was in a barn. We all sat on hay as they got married. Hay. We sat on hay. We're in suits and we're sitting on hay. Yeah, that's great. If I knew it was going to be this, I would have come in my Daisy Dukes and my boots and boot scoot and boogied all night long. Anyway, you checked the new Sennheiser Spectera. I have not. One of the reasons is because I don't really use Sennheiser, in all honesty. Let me get the computer out. Look, hey, look, my office computer. All right, let's see here. Of course, when I need the HDMI, I never have the HDMI. And I also think people need to I think people need to okay, hold on. All right. What is this? 3? Okay. Sennheiser Spectera, the world's first wideband bidirectional wireless ecosystem. Okay. Be heard in every room. Okay. Wireless. I think I might have jumped it. That's weird. They just like stopped. Okay. Oh, because they're different ones. All right. So that's weird. It was on the front page and now it's not. That's weird. Oh, there it is. Okay. Future of wireless for audio. Bidirectional. Okay. 64 channels, 32 in and out in a single unit. Okay. First wideband bidirectional digital wireless ecosystem, providing audio, professional, umbrella equivalent. Okay. Gives you control latency, audio quality, and more of each link, while its bidirectional body packs manage both in-ear and mic line signals simultaneously. Okay, that's cool. That is cool. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. You do know that that's going to be a grip, right? That's not going to come cheap. Like this is clear. This is for people that are doing like major productions and they just can't run wires everywhere. That is not going to be cheap. I'm taking a guess. I assume this base station is and licenses. Yeah, so Keith just says starts at $12,000. Yeah, yeah, and that's probably just for the box. The software probably costs another 500, and then all of the extra components that you need to buy are going to be a grip, because anytime there is new technology, they will make money off of it. That's just the way it works. Let's see here. What, I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Spectera. Yeah, it's not even being listed yet on American Music Supply. What's the other company? The huge one. Gear. The one with Gearfest. I was there. What's it called? Sweetwater. Thank you. If anybody has it, it would be Sweetwater. Okay. All right. They do have it. Okay. Okay. I don't pre-order. Okay. So just the body pack and transmitter receiver is $2,000. Just the body pack. Does it come with the earphones at least? I think it's just a body pack. Now, look. $10,000. $10,000. Oh my, are you serious? $1,600 for their wings? Did they at least give you two? I think it's just one. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. And it's a lot of money. And there are going to be people, again, if you are professional AV, I understand this. If you're doing stuff, you're doing concerts and you can avoid all the stuff. Yeah, I'm totally down for it. And I'm sure it works amazingly. But this isn't for us. This is not for us. This might be for Woopig, since he does all the AV now, but you only need one. Two is not needed. Why would you only need one? There's only one antenna in the mic? That's weird. That's weird. I would think you would need two. But okay. All right, let's see here. And does not run on standard frequencies. Obviously, you're paying for the exclusivity. All right. Yeah, it looks amazing. I'll never have it. Okay. Let's see here. And an annual license. Guaranteed there's a license. It's probably built into the software, is my guess. Agreed. I agree with you on this. Jay Davis, are you still running your setup with an external mixer? No, I don't run my setup with an external mixer ever. That is not a me thing. That is not a me thing. Are you sure you're not getting me confused with another DJ influencer? Because I don't. If I have to run a mixer, that just means I'm doing extra things. But I do not run external mixer. Phoenix has a good lav mic system that I would be fine with. I've heard. Does that say without? Oh, it does say without. My bad. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to change. I'm right back to the answer. I'm not going to change. Why do I need to go with an external mixer if it's never given me a problem before? That's just one more piece that I got to run another cord to and run multiple things to. I'm good. All right. Watch the presentation when you get a chance. You're not selling me on this. They lost me at $10,000. There's no reason. I'm never going to own one of these. I am never going to own one of these. So, like, at least, okay. I look at sports cars. You know, you guys all know that the Panamera. I'm at midlife, so I can't have a crisis now. But when we do finally, when everything is moving, the wall's going out every week, you know, and lighting's going on every week. You might see me driving a Porsche Panamera. It's the only car, or Taycan, depending on the money wise, because that's the electric one. It's the only car I've ever wanted. Porsche Panamera. Only car. I could care less about any other car. That's the only car I've been like, if I ever get some money, that's my car. I mean, over G-Wagons, everything else. And I'm a truck SUV person, but that Panamera has got my name on it. It has my name on it. So it's not going to go. Chances are, Keith, that stuff is proprietary, just so we're clear. So we'll see what Shure does. But in my opinion, I'm going to say something that's going to sound old, but everything worked better. Wireless before it went to digital. The reach was better. It had more ways of getting that data from your handheld to the receiver. It was a lot more forgiving. I'm not a fan of digital microphones. I don't care how pristine they sound. I use them because that's the only choice, because most of the analog frequency microphones are in frequencies that we can't use anymore. So we're kind of forced to go digital. And in all honesty, I can't stand them. I think it's dumb. They don't have the range they used to. You're now required to run them ugly ass wings when I never used to run wings ever on any microphone besides the BLX. That was trash. But anything PG and above, like, I never had a problem with interference with anything with the analog microphones. Now we go digital and everything is so sensitive. Everything. And it just annoys the hell out of me. It annoys the hell out of me. Lil Ben Franks. That's a great name. Quick question. Have you ever DJ'd with virtual DJ? Yes, I have. What do you think about it? I think it's good. Thinking about making the switch from Serato to VDJ or DJ Pro. Well, I have a VDJ video from like three or four updates ago. I do have updates on the minor updates. It's a good program. DJ I've been currently reviewing. And the reason why the review hasn't come out is because I had some things I wanted DJ to answer before I started my review. Now that that's done, I can do the review. So right after I do this video wall this weekend and my life slows down a hair, I can get to work. Hard to shoot videos when I'm in the office from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Hard to shoot a video. And there's no room. I could shoot it in the office, but we don't have a humongous storage unit or industrial unit. So right now the LED wall is like in the middle of our building, taking up all the space, but that's okay. At least we can do it. We found a space that we're going to start building the walls on because I need to always be able to test and make and mess around and do all the things. So that's coming too. Okay. Okay. So in terms of frequency, I think is digital better though? I mean, really, in terms of frequency, because I guess the argument can be made that analog has more places that you can fall into, or digital O's and ones, like a CD. It's the same thing. Like when they went to CD, you lost some nuance from some records because this is how this is analog, right? As you're going up the hill, and this is digital. So yes, you're gonna get a more precise connection, but you lose the ability to kind of operate within the spaces. And I think that's the issue. And the range is nowhere near analog. Nowhere near it. Nobody can tell me different. I've yet to use one digital microphone where the range has been remotely close to my analog microphones. Not one. But the manufacturers definitely want you to buy new microphones because they could have put those analogs into the proper frequencies, but they didn't. They put the digital ones. Anyway. Okay. Have you ever tested? No, I have not tested this. It's supposed to be one of the best CO2 jets. I mean, the joy of being a DJ is there's many options everywhere. So it always makes me laugh when people are like, oh, well, everybody uses this, so I should use this. It's like, are you sure? I mean, just like I'm opening up Magic, a new era of smoke. I'm so sick of being asked for cookies every day. Okay, new era of smoke.
Hi, my name is Guido, product specialist at Magic Effects. Today I'm going to show you guys a little more about the new Eco 2 jet. This new full electronic jet replaces traditional CO2 jets. A better effect without having to use actual CO2 gas. The Eco 2 jet is not affected by humidity, meaning you always get a high effect up to 12 meters, even in hot, dry or sunny circumstances. It's a game changer as it comes to smoke effects and comes close to actual CO2. There are many so-called high-powered smoke effects on the market, but there's nothing that comes even close to this one. The sound it generates is also much lower than actual CO2. An Eco 2 jet produces 95 decibels compared to 115 decibels of a CO2 jet. The Eco 2 jet has already been seen by many major artists worldwide. As an accessory, we have also developed a bracket, which allows you to place the Eco 2 jet under all angles. You can use the Eco 2 jet upside down, straight forward, or at an angle that you desire. We have developed two types of smoke fluids, an indoor and an outdoor version, both available in 5 liter canisters. Both fluids evaporate really fast. The outdoor fluid is really white and a little bit denser, making it perfect for outdoor conditions. The indoor fluid is a little bit less dense and evaporates even faster, making it
So,
perfect for indoor use.
so it's a hybrid smoke machine. It's not really CO2. It projects like CO2, but it's really a smoke machine, which a lot of venues do not like. They prefer CO2 over smoke machines any day of the week. I mean, it looks cool though. It looks cool. But yeah, the last thing I need is for another venue to tell me you can't use this because it is this. Like, I'm just over that. I'm only buying stuff that people will actually not give me trouble with. Yeah, 900 is kind of the standard now. Keith, that's the standard frequency for a majority of mics. Like Shure is the same way. They want us to buy new stuff, but I'm still running my wife's business workshop with a 600 megahertz unit still. Yeah. So, okay. So for the record, let's just be clear about this. It's not that the microphones, the analog, I still have an analog microphone. It's in my Danny Max right now, and it's running in the negative area. But I also have a digital backup that I just keep with me. It's not that, lost my train of thought. It's not that they can't be used. They can be used. You're just at risk of having more interference by going that route. But it's not like it's closed off. Now, technically speaking, I mean, yeah, if something were being used and for whatever reason, your microphone, your one single microphone was the cause for having an entire band fall apart, yeah, you could be in trouble because it's technically against the law, but I don't care. If it works, it works. And I find that if you're going to get problems with using microphones that are in that kind of do not use spectrum, you're going to find most problems when you're outside versus when you're inside. That's the key. So if you're inside a room, typically speaking, your microphone's going to be fine. It's only when you're outside. You know, we did one at the pier once, and there was a radio station and like a mega church and whatever, and they were all on that microphone. No matter what, was cutting out left and right. I had to go wired because of it. You know, and that was in the right frequency. It just so happened that the police were on that frequency of that particular microphone. Anyway, there's a lot of frequencies in big cities. You know, Ernest Sells correct. It is what it is. Total amount of wireless being used by professionals. We all share and step on each other's frequencies. Kind of frustrating and take a hit on a frequency. Yeah, I mean that's ultimately why you're supposed to rescan every time you get to a venue, to to get around that. And I know a lot of people do not rescan their microphones. I know this. And then they wonder why they're causing problems. You're supposed to rescan every single time you get to a venue. So you get the optimum thing. And everybody should be rescanning. And so not just you, but the photographer, you know, the videographer, anybody that's using the LED. I mean, obviously the lighting people are kind of limited. Yes, you can change the channels, but you can't really change the frequency. You're on that frequency. Okay, what are we dealing with? 12:09. All right, so I got a couple more minutes and then I'm out of here. Build a barn. That's true. The problem is we'd have to go somewhere away from the city. There's just no space. Yes, exactly. Yeah, no. That's not what I'm saying. I agree with you. I agree with you, Keith. But again, you need to scan, and yes, the frequency reader is fine, except when it's not. Because I've used Shure frequency thing, and I've been in a place and it's like your microphone works perfectly here, and then it just won't work. So you know, so yes, it's good to get a reference, but I wouldn't like trust that on that completely. It's just you just gotta be safe. All right. Any suggestions for entry level lighting? Would it be best to invest in gig bar when starting off? It's one of those days. It's one of those days. Um, this is why I'm always surprised that the people that have been here since the beginning actually stay, because some of these questions start to get redundant. And I always think it's impressive that you guys do stay. So thank you. Entry level lighting. The only thing I will say is stay away from like derbies. You know, Ben, what's it, Ben Stowe? He had a couple of Instagram posts just recently, and he was saying you're better off just buying like, you know, a pack of color washes and then just DMXing them, and they'll do better for you than a gig bar. I don't know that I agree 100%. I understand what he's saying. I understand what he's thanks T Diesel. I understand what he's saying, but I prefer movers, period. And yes, the movers aren't as strong as my dedicated standalone movers. The washes aren't as powerful as my standard washes, but for parties in small rooms, and with small guest list, you're fine. You're fine. So yes, there's two things that I use left and right where people would say, I prefer to use this. I use a gig bar when I'm not using my trussing, my movers, and I use my LDs if the party's not over 115 people or the venue is, excuse me, or the venue is super small. Those are my options. That's it. I always try to make excuses to use the gig bar. And if, like I said, if you're in a small room, that gig bar will do just fine. But it's not for every room. You know, I would not take a gig bar into a room that fits 500 people. That thing's not going to do anything at all. I really wouldn't even use it outside. You know, if it's like, I mean, unless it's super small, but if like you're outside, like on a basketball court, and let's say you're doing some school event, like that gig bar, it's not really going to work. It's going to look good with people staring at you, but it's not going to do anything for the people on the floor. Sometimes I think that the gig bar specifically isn't for the guest. It's just for making your setup look good. In all honesty, because a lot of times, you know, they're not strong enough to really do anything. But they look good. If somebody's staring at you, you look great. I think it's this herbal tea that I'm drinking. It's making me tired. Okay. All right, let's see here. Yeah, this is true. I mean, which is the reason that ILS is even selling like it does, because a lot of people want a one-stop light. Why are you saying herbal? I said herbal. Herbal. And you can say herbal too. Herbal's fine. Back off, man. Please. Okay. Yes. So, lighting can absolutely be as complicated as you want it to be. I mean, there are some people that put their movers on auto and they put them in totem mode and they just walk away from them. There's other people that will, take it and set up a basic setting down, dance floor, everything else is automatic, and that's fine too. But then there's people that have, like me, where you have different profiles and you have different settings per what they're doing. Maybe you have when they're reading, you got the lights that move straight up, hit the ceiling, shoot white, so it bounces off the ceiling, comes back, so the people can read whatever their speech is. Maybe you want it to be single, and then you want it to be prism style for certain effects. Like the color key has like a ton of effects that it actually has dual prism, and I still haven't gotten it. The WMX doesn't have dual prism in the settings for that color key. Oh my God. So what that means is you got to go into program mode in the live edit and then kind of mess with it there. It's the only way to do it. So yeah, there's many options that you can do. But yeah, the more stuff you bring, the more complicated it gets, which is why I stick to, the things I'm using, whether it be the WMX, whether it be Sound Switch, whether it be Maestro DMX that I'm testing, or what's the other one? Sound Switch, WMX, Maestro. I mean, those are the three. I mean, I guess ADJ Go, but I think their protocols are trash. I've never had a successful ADJ wireless product that hasn't cut out on me. Not one. Don't know anybody that has not had one. So it is. DJ Showcase says, for lighting, I use wash effects, okay, and 2 movers on a truss. That looks good to me. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, good option. And simple. Very, very simple. The wash effects are, you don't even have to go with like the Watch FX 2, which is technically an older product now, but it still hits. They have a bigger one now. It's okay. Gigbar Bridge ILS new 70 watts. Yes, I know we've said this like 4 times today. I don't know what happened, but everybody that owns or wants a Gigbar is on this show today. We know. Doesn't matter. It's still a slightly smaller output, and I'd rather have 4 movers than 2 movers and some derbies. But yes, the ILS is fine. It's fine. I, in all honesty, prefer a 100-watt mover. In all honesty, 100-watt movers, I think are kind of the baseline. Yeah, we accept and get by with the gig bars, okay, but 100 watts really is the minimum. Really, it really should be. So I think that there is a, I believe that there's a physical limitation to the smaller movers and getting them up to 100 watts. I truly believe this because nobody's doing it. Not one manufacturer. guys, I am not a. I'm not, okay. At least ask nicely. But yeah, I don't even know about the bridge ILS. The bridge? Which one's the bridge? Which one is the bridge? I don't even know bridge ILS. Sure that's right? Bridge ILS. Oh, that thing. Okay. Uh so yeah, I actually have a video that I just have to cut up and do. The cool thing about the bridge, and I don't even know why I need to talk about this. You know, you guys are fully capable of reading yourself, but if you need me to read to you so you can sleep tonight, I will do that. The Chevy DJ Gig Bar Bridge ILS2 is a good bar. It takes away the need for all them stupid ass derbies. So I'm a fan of that. The movers are still pretty much the same. I think they're what I like about them just no information. What I like about them specifically is you can attach them. So these you can put in multiple. So you can go from 2 to 4 just like that. I am a big fan of that. I think that's great. And I think if you're into ILS, you're truly into ILS, this is kind of a no-brainer for me. But they're still 70 because they can't go any higher. I'm pretty sure they can't go any higher. Yeah, I think that is the physical limit. The hell, man, guys. Some of these questions are getting real minute, and some of these questions need to be asked on the manufacturer's forums because I don't know everything. I've been getting people lately who've been DMing me over the dumbest stuff where I'm just like, why do you think I would know this? Go to the Pioneer DJ forum and post this. Hey, I'm experiencing this and blah, blah, blah. Why would you come to me? You know, I know people think that I'm using everything, but the fact is I'm not. I don't use every piece of equipment. You know, I don't get every piece of equipment. Jay Book in the building. What's going on, my guy? Good to see you. So I have no idea what comes, what is discontinued. I learned just like you, especially discontinued stuff. But I will say that, you know, most products, the only way that Chevy, ADJ, all of them, the only way that they can continue to get you to buy stuff is by discontinuing product. There's so much product that has been discontinued in the 17 years that I've been in business. It's like, it's a running joke. You know, Chevy is the king of discontinuing stuff. They'll discontinue a product 3 months after they sold it. ADJ is not high end. ADJ has broken off their company. So now there is a high end ADJ and a cheap version. That's the version they always want us DJ influencers to review. The cheap version. No, thank you. Anyway, okay. Let's see. The new and we've said this. 360 tubes for lazy DJs that don't look good. Might as well give pre-owned Johnny lightsabers. Okay. All right. I personally I personally, and by the way, Wayne, DJ Island Boy, thank you for the $20 super chat, fam. I appreciate that. DJ Future 804, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. You know, it's always the ones where they're hard reviews, and then all of a sudden it's like, he should get a little money. So thank you. I I don't know why ADJ considers them high end. Most people aren't buying ADJ for high end. Most people, we won't go there. We'll let it go. Anyway, tubes. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with the tubes. While some of the tubes look good, there's a lot of tubes out there now that are coming out that are just look like trash. Yeah, if you use tubes, you don't have to. You technically don't need washes because the tubes are going to provide your washes. So maybe now you only have a couple of movers on stands and then the tubes. I don't personally. I don't know. I'm mixed with the tubes in all honesty, because sometimes they look good, sometimes they look like shit. So I don't know. I'm very mixed. I mean, I got, these ADJ ones here. Should be dead. I gotta charge them. Those were my first kind of stint at tubes. Those are purchased because they're battery operated. Everything is purchased because it's battery operated, though, Keith. Like, that's just the way it works. I mean, but you can also get yourself some battery powered color washes. So it all exists right now. If you're more concerned with just not having to plug stuff in, there's so many battery powered options for lighting. Now, the one thing I don't love about them, the cases are typically bigger, and I'm not putting light tubes in a bag. That's crazy. If you do that, more power to you. But 270. What is going on? Clarence, why do you keep saying that they're 70 watts? We know they're 70 watts. We've been on this show since 10:30. We've talked about the 70 watts like 5 times. I'm not coming down on you. I'm just saying this. We've been having this conversation over and over again. Lil Ben Franks, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you, fam. Yes, we know. But we've said this. We thank you for the clarification, Clarence. Clarification. That's what I'm gonna call it. Thank you for the clarification. But yeah, what I'm saying is that I think 70 watts is a limitation of all the movers in that size. I don't think that they can go any brighter. I think it's a limitation, because there hasn't been one company that has come out with a mover that size that has exceeded 70 watts. Not one company. Now, strangely enough, though, I will say this. The Color Key 70 watt lights are brighter than the Chevet 70 watt lights. They are, for just facts. So, but again, it's all trade-offs. You're kind of deciding what is important to you. So when I use my Free Spot 60s, the importance to me is not that they're not as bright as other movers. The importance to me is that they're battery powered and wireless. And if I'm using like the Command ILS, it's legitimately so easy. I turn them on and I press go. Even if I'm using the WMX, like, it's the same concept. So some of this stuff we know we use because it's convenience. We know this. If that wasn't the case, okay. If we weren't about convenience, in all honesty, if we weren't about convenience, nobody would use a column array. Nobody would use a column array if we really cared about putting out the best possible, insert your word here. Honestly, for the most part, column arrays are very specific, and usually they're underpowered, or they're under base power. But we use them because they're convenient. They fit in a small truck. They fit in a wagon. I don't have to try to put. They're easier to lift. But like I said, column arrays are for a very specific group. 100 people, 120 people maximum. After that, you got to go point source. Nice variety. Thank you for the $2 super chat, fam. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. It's not the size of the wattage, but the motion of the mover. Well, yeah, it's not the size of the it's not the size of the wattage. It's how you program it. Saying you got to program it correctly. It's the quality of your programming, the quality of your fingers. That went too far. I get that. I get that. Okay, let's see here. I know that at a certain point, who's giving me tubes? Oh, Aplabs is going to send me some tubes. I don't know. Samuel Patterson with the $5 super chat. Thank you, fam. Appreciate you. I don't know how much I will use them or not use them. In all honesty, I'm not sure. There is a very specific look that's been going around lately. And I know that not everybody uses these looks. So I understand that from a layman or from just like a customer, they don't see it like we see it. You know, I mean, I follow a whole bunch of DJs and I turn it on and all their setups come up and it's like, okay, you know, Humpter, fake Humpter, Humpter, Danny Max, Joban, you know, and then facades. Like, that's it. Aplabs is a bit harder to include in a setup as you need to buy their DMX wireless transmitter to control them with other brands. Yeah, I have in my up flights, I do have the wireless controller, and it's still small and convenient, and it's easy. But yes, you do need that too. I mean, but the same argument could be made if you are running just different company lights. You know, like if I'm running Chevet lighting and then I have an ADJ light, I still have to run some form of communication to that ADJ light so we can talk to the other ADJ lights. So, I mean, that argument is it's understandable, but it's the same. It applies to everything. So I wouldn't think too hard about that. Yeah. And, yeah, I tried to program the lights to be able to work, with others, and I found it easier to go the other route. But I'll try again though. You know, when you're dealing with a product that doesn't have, the Donner dongles. Yeah. When you're dealing with the program like the ILS that, or Aplabs, which is essentially ILS. It's all ILS. It's all variations. Maestro DMX, it's all variations of ILS. The difference between Maestro is ILS for the rest of us. So if they can get it to work at the level that I need it to work, I'm just waiting on that update, which I think happens in like a couple of days. That might be my go-to, in all honesty. If it might be my go-to. There's a couple of things that it needs, but it's easy. Anyway, we'll see. Okay. Joe Scribb, thank you for the super chat. See, look, this is how it works. It only takes one to get it started, and then everybody chips in, and then I'm happy about the day. Because sometimes I do the show and I'm like, man, I'm throwing some gems down, and I'm not getting anything. I'm like, damn, is this what people think of me? You know, I'm not trying to be like, you know, you go to like El Pollo Loco, or you go to Panda Express and you're like, you just buy like a meal and they're like, you want to round up to support that? No, I don't want to round up because it's expensive out here. No, you've done nothing to help me. You just did your job. So I don't tip those kinds of people. I don't tip the cashier for putting my food in a box. But if you're giving me valuable information that I can take and use for the future, then absolutely take care of your people. Okay. Again, are we talking convenience or are we talking abilities? If we're talking convenience, then yes, a gig bar and a couple of uplights are fine. If we're talking convenience, but a gig bar is going to cost you, you know what? Gig bar move ILS is what, $1,300 now, $1,300 or $1,400. You could get like 2 color key movers for under $1,000. You know, you can get some uplights, like who makes them? Rockville. You could get some cheaper uplights for something like that. If only I drank coffee, Pablo. So what I'm saying is, there's a lot of options out there. Again, convenience. There's certain things that I do just because of convenience, not because they're better, not because they're worse, but convenience. So you just have to understand what makes sense for you, you know, because just don't buy just because it's cheap. Don't buy just because it's a gig bar. I mean, I know people that make their own gig bars. You know, they get the tea stand, then they get themselves some better movers, some better washes, and do it themselves. So it just depends on what you want to do. But the gig bar is convenient. Now, when is the gig bar not convenient? Well, when the damn case is busted, then it sucks. So, you know, it's like, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. You got to figure out what works for you. They absolutely need a considerably better case. And I'm tired of it just because of the case. It's a running joke that shouldn't be funny. The amount of money we pay for this stuff, we shouldn't. And look, this is coming from a person that gets a lot of stuff for free. My last gig bar move ILS was free. Chevet sent it to me. I hate the case. Chevet knows about the case. The people that work at Chevet know their cases suck. And there's nothing that anybody wants to do about it. And the whole argument of, well, fine, get the gig bar case. It's like multifunctional and it can be a case for any gig bar you have. And the new light tubes that Chevet's coming out with, they're literally using the same gig bar case. It's just the foam inside is different. That case is humongous. It's humongous. I don't want a case that big. And it's like they took what we said. Like, your cases suck. Can you come out with something that's more durable? And then they're like, sure. And then they just went like full on opposite. I'm going to give you more than durable. I'm going to give you a bed that you can sleep in every night when you don't have your gig bar inside of it because it's humongous. I don't need something that big. Nothing wrong with the gig bar, George White. There's nothing wrong with the gig bar. And I will not let you tell people that there's something wrong with the gig bar. There's nothing wrong with the gig bar. It's just not for you. But for some people, the gig bar works fine. I have multiple gig bars that we use. If I'm rocking it's 75 people, I'm rocking a gig bar. Any chance I get. Why would I bring my movers for 70 people? That's just more work for me. So there is a place for them. It's not, you should not be using gig bars on every single situation, but there's a place for gig bars. No, don't say my bad. You're all good, George. I'm messing with you. just the gig bar has been a thing today. Okay. Yeah, so the case for the gig bar, I think, is around $300. Trash is early today. $250. $250 for the case. Oh, that's why it's bigger. Because they have space for the dumbass pole. Why would they do that? Why would they put the pole in there? That's just dumb. Okay. So that's why it's bigger than it needs to be. And look, I mean, do we really need to have the thumb drives? Do we really need that in here? Is it that important? Like, come on. You got multiples. You got a controller for this. This is for the command ILS. I think these are the wireless DMXs that I use. Like here's the problem. I mean, they've made a box that fits like 40 different things. But what if you don't need all of this? And this is overkill. This is stuff that can sit in your bag. Anyway, but the poles, I don't even use their poles. So now I don't have a place for my poles because I use the flex stand. Is it big enough to use the flex stand? You know, who knows? I mean, that would be interesting though. Actually, I'm not going to tell a lie. If it could fit the flex stand, obviously I would still need to take the base out. But if it could fit the flex stand, maybe it's a little better. But it's big. It's a very deep. Don't say anything, Pablo. It's a very, very deep box. Pablo, stop. Don't get your fingers off the keyboard. Okay. All right. Jorge Blanco on Twitch. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. So is your name? What is your name though? Is it George White or is it Jorge Blanco? And which one is your DJ name? I mean, I know it's the same name. Jorge is George, Blanco is White. But now I'm just, you can't just say, yep. I asked you like 4 questions. I mean, you could use it as a cable box, but does it really require that many cables for a gig bar? I mean, if you're using ILS, then you probably have a command ILS. So you're literally just, or you're not, or I mean, it's just for a power cable. You probably already have a power bag for all your cables, is my guess. Gotcha. George White's the real name. Okay, good to know. All right. I did a small party with both IR4s and tried their sound active mode, and it was a good surprise. Best light is set up, no wolf mix. Okay. All right, that works. All right. Oh, the case is 100% the issue. 100%. 100%. All right. But for me specifically, I don't rock a van. I have a truck. Maybe when I get a van, if I decide to get a van in the next vehicle, then it's probably a moot point. But it is a very thick case. I mean, it's like, I guess the standard case is probably around here. and that case is thicker and it's deeper. So if you have everything kind of balanced out like in your vehicle, that might really mess up your whole little layout there. So that's the reason why I don't have a case. It's got to all fit in my truck smoothly. Like my truck situation now, like if I'm bringing movers. All right, this is my truck situation. On the left side, I wonder if I have a picture here. On the left side, I have my furniture, Danny Max furniture. So I can stack them on top of each other. One is the base, one is the actual controller. So I can put it on top. I can also fit my gig bar move on top of there if I choose to. All right. And I can fit it right in the middle too. I can slide in the middle. Then I have my QSCs. Subs go first, and then the speakers. I can close my gate. Everything's in there, followed by my cord bag. And if I'm using my QSCs, then I bring my smaller ladder setup, the one that folds flat. If I'm using the LDs, then I will bring my rock and roller. I know it seems weird, but it makes sense because the QSCs are on wheels, so I can put everything on there and roll it up just like that. And then in my truck, I will keep whichever mover bag I use. So that could be the color keys, that could be the Chevets, depends on my mood. So I'll have those and the Humpter stands, because the bag is this big and this wide. And I don't have to bring trusses, and I don't really have to build trusses per se. So that's my setup. And I'm very, very happy with that. And then if I have uplights and stuff, yeah, the Ape Labs or whatever, they'll sit inside my truck too. That's my setup. Everything fits in my truck easily. I have room for another person. We did an event in the Bay Area, and I brought my small setup, and I had everything in the back of the truck. The only thing that wouldn't fit specifically was the gig bar move, because I couldn't close completely the truck bed because I have a tonneau cover on it, or the back flip. Anyway, so then I needed to take the gig bar out, and then I put that in the truck bed and close it up. The F-150 has a really cool feature where you can literally lift up the back seats and they sit up, and now you have a full-on extra space cargo hold. So there hasn't been anything that I haven't been able to get in my truck. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, my crew rents vans. We have U-Haul vans for all my crew. I just have my truck. But yeah, for everybody else rents U-Hauls. New Chevet bridge, only 26 inches. Do you work for Chevet, Clarence? Because you sure are focusing on Chevet. And if you do, welcome. I have a couple of friends at Chevet with our love-hate relationship. Anyway. Okay. What DMX controller are you using? I use them all. Or do you use the Flex 10? What does the Flex 10 have to do with the DMX controller? Flex 10, if you are using their DMX, it's limited to the record box DMX. You can't use any other DMX with that. So the Flex 10 is kind of irrelevant in this situation. Now, having said that, I use YouTube is not reading. I have some drop frames. Now we're back. Okay. Now, having said that, I have 3 that I go back and forth with. I'm always in testing. So I prefer the WMX1 just across the board. I like SoundSwitch. I don't love the Control one, but I do like SoundSwitch. I just feel I prefer the WMX. I'm also testing the Maestro. I haven't come down to a favorite yet. So we shall see. Okay. Last question. Do you plan to do a what's in my bag? I guess I could. I guess I could. I didn't even know if people were still into those, to be honest with you. So I probably limit the amount of videos I have just because I don't think people care about that kind of stuff. But then I come on here and don't do it. Says Keith Just. Yeah. This is the problem with me. If anybody's just like, what do you use for? I use everything. Like right now, I got 2 movers that I need to review next week. I can't do it this week because I need to make sure that my timing, I don't have time to be messing around with something I don't know because I have an LED wall that I'm running. So next week I got to do those. I'm still reviewing the Maestro, so I still need to do that. Yeah, the sound switch before a gig. It was, yeah. See, and that's my issue. So my biggest issue with Sound Switch, number one issue that I have with them is the fact that they go pay security. I can't stand the fact that it requires security. You cannot use Sound Switch without a dongle anyway. So why are you forcing me to have a pay security too? So that's one of the main reasons that I can't. And for whatever reason, my login never works for Pace. And so I got to get my updates from somebody at In Music. They got to send it to me because it never works for me. And it's the little things like that where I'm like, if it takes too much work, I don't want to use it. And that's how I'm feeling right now about it. In all honesty, it's good. It's good if it works for you, but WMX1, it's external. It doesn't have an opinion of what I use. It doesn't care what dongles I'm throwing in out of the bag. It's got visuals that help me, and the screen is very, very clear and concise. I'm on the same thing. I have the initial brick. It's right here. Still got it. I'm just over it. Yes, agreed. Yes, it is very, very impressive. Although over the last 3 weeks, I haven't been able to use it because I've been busy and it's pissing me off. When it's all said and done, I don't even know how much I'm going to be DJing, to be honest with you. Because I'm running the video walls and we're booking them so much that there's going to be weeks where I haven't DJed for like a month. I might have to come back to Twitch just to DJ. Thank God. Because I had given up on them. Okay, let's see here. Don't do it. All right. Anyway, I do have a conference call at 1:00. I'm going to be very, very busy. I got Zoom calls on 1:30. Wait a minute. I'm on the wrong date. Oh my God. This lady has another meeting today. Okay. So the problem is, this one client that we're doing the LED wall for, she schedules meetings every day. Every day. WMX does not lack the bicolors. You just have to go into program mode in order to do them. You can still do them, but it has to be through program mode. And she calls every day. I'm trying to do stuff and trying to work. And she's like, hey, by the way. And I'm like, you do want me to get this stuff done? Because I can't get all this stuff done. I just got the music to do the video montage yesterday. And I'm like, how a montage takes a little longer than, I mean, I got to stick to it. So when I'm done with my calls today I got calls all the way through 6 o'clock. So, 4:30. I'm looking for a break in the day. Yeah, I didn't have a break in the day. Anyway, so this is why I have a cold. It's stress. This is why I have a cold. I started working out again. You know, when you first start working out, your body, you really knock your immunity down, which is so funny because the more you work out, the better your immunity is. But when you first start, your whole body's out of whack. So I got sick last week because of the stress and because of the immunity. But yeah, why do I have another Zoom meeting? I'm so done with all these Zoom meetings with this client. Like, I'm done. Having said that, it is time for me to go because I got to get some stuff done. What do you do with your old gear? I give it to my other DJ crews. I do 12 events on a Saturday night. So we don't have old gear. We just move it down, you know, because my old gear is typically better than everybody else's old gear. You get what I'm saying? So if I pass it down, my stuff is still pristine because I take care of my stuff. It's fine. Pierre in the building. What's going on, man? Good to see you. I'm literally getting off right now, but thanks for stopping by, fam. Appreciate you. Hope you be charging for building that montage. Yes, I do charge for the montage. All right. So I do got to run. I have to run now that I see this stupid meeting. And I'm going to laugh. And she's like, where's the montage? I'm going to laugh. And I'm like, are you serious? Look, Tuesday, meeting with them, 3:30. Wednesday, meeting with them. Thursday, meeting with them. It's like, you know, if you give me that half hour that we're scheduled for our meeting and you just let me work, I can get more done in that half hour than I can talking to you about useless stuff over and over again. All right. Anyway, got to run, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will update you guys next week on how it went next week. See you next Thursday. I think, yeah, my wife's birthday is on Friday. So I will see you next Thursday and have great parties, guys. We'll talk soon. Peace.